yeah, savoir. We love Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In this bulletin, RKS issue continues to escalate. PM hits out at former government man. And Minister gives water restoration update.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Ateda Lendua.
The Education Ministry has asked Ratu Kandabo Lebu School Principal Arvind Prasad to respond to the allegations leveled against him by the RKS Student Council. This was confirmed to FBC News by Education Minister Rosie Akbar after receiving the grievances reports by the council against Prasad this morning. Akbar says the team that was sent to the school is working to finalize their findings and hopes to address the issue this week. Akbar says the claims made by the council, such as loose and expired meat, the removal of extracurricular activities and other claims will be looked into. RKS All Boys President Ali Buretiaya confirmed to FBC News that they will be meeting with the Prime Minister regarding the issue. The school is currently closed for a week as the ministry works to address the issue.
The team is trying to ascertain the validity of the claims. Okay? And like I said, we don't sweep things under the carpet. We will hear this side of the story as well, and we'll hear the administration side of the story as well. And then we can come to a conclusive decision as to what's the way forward for the schools, because we really want students to return to their classes.
Prime Minister Borange Bainimarama slammed National Federation Party President Pio Tikundundua in Parliament last night for his comment on the tons of cane to tons of sugar ratio. Tikundundua had asked the Prime Minister to provide an explanation for the high average of TCTS of 11.8 recorded by the Fiji Sugar Corporation until 10th August. Bainimarama in response says that it is unusual to be discussing the TCTS this early into the crushing season.
It's the state of the milling efficiency combined with frequent breakdown, particularly in Lotoka and Rarawai, responsible for the high TCTs and losses to the growers.
Mill breakdown has nothing to do with TCTs, but some of the issues that was raised are exaggeration and false.
Minister for Infrastructure Chone Usumate confirms the water supply is expected to be fully restored by this Friday. Usumate highlighted this while providing an update in Parliament on the restoration of water supply to the Greater Suva Nosori area as Water Authority's mechanical and electrical team replaced the burnt automatic transfer switch ahead of schedule. He says water restoration will be gradual, adding that restoration efforts also depend heavily on daily consumption. Opposition MP Aseri Rondrondo says the ministerial statement by Usumate only talks about the ATS issues, but does not talk about how these issues can be prevented.
Customers may experience intermittent supply during the restoration period. WAF is also providing water cutting services to affected areas that are still yet to receive water. This exercise will continue until the full restoration has been achieved.
What this Honorable Minister should also state in his ministerial statement is a reassurance, Mr. Speaker, sir, that there will be continuous repairs and maintenance carried out on a regular basis to ensure that there is a continuous supply of water to all the households around the Central Eastern Division.
The Ministry of Health has so far conducted 7,986 COVID-19 tests. Minister Dr. Ifiremi Wangainambete says the total tests for confirmed cases are 282. While updating Parliament on Fiji's COVID-19 status, Dr. Wangainambete says there are 4 active cases remaining in isolation. These are all border quarantine cases. He says so far, Fiji has recorded 28 positive cases. 22 Fijians have recovered, while 2 border quarantine cases died due to complications of the virus.
We actually, with New Zealand, have one of the highest test positivity in the world, in Australia. And the total test for confirmed cases is 282. In the meantime, we continue to remain vigilant and alert, and this is because in our region, Australia and New Zealand are both contending with community transmission as well as Papua New Guinea and French Polynesia.
$420 million worth of government bonds, which mature next month, will be refinanced at a much lower rate. Minister for Economy Ayar Said Qayyum says this is a win for Fiji as the government has managed to secure favorable conditions from international agencies. He adds in preparation for the maturing bonds, they had also saved more than $200 million offshore.
Essentially means you're looking at about maximum 1.5, 1.2%, if that. And of course, as you know, as part of that, we're getting some IDA funds too. So the cost of those funds, the cost of that is much lower because it's like paying in excess of 6% for the 200 million. Now it's being financed at less than 2%.
Lautoka-based non-government organization Food Inspired is committed to supporting women struggling financially during this COVID-19 period. Representative Wayne Lino says following the graduation of 42 women from Lovu Heart, the NGO has considered expanding their business training program in the Western Division. Lino says the COVID-19 pandemic has forced a lot of women to stay at home as most of them are without work and have little to support their families. Trainers from Australia could not make it to the country. However, Lino says the NGO has equipped their people to carry out the training.
Trainings like this will attract more funders so that we can train more women in the art of jam and chutney making, not just in the art of jam and chutney making, but food safe and, of course, how to keep track of the money that they make.
The Grace Road Group hopes to acquire more land to increase rice production in the country. Group President Daniel Kim says the limitation of land is affecting their capacity to increase production. Kim says they have only 600 acres of land on which they have a dairy farm. He says their aim is to develop more land so they can produce up to 6,000 tons of rice.
400 acres land, we yield about yearly less than 1,000 tons per year. But if you have 13,000 acres land, we can 100% we can achieve self-sufficiency of the rice.
Up ahead, possible life ban for rugby league coach. And Athletics Fiji targets grassroots hubs.
Bula FM number 2 NSR.
Bula FM number 2 NSR.
The coach that allegedly instigated the brawl between the McCoy Bulldogs and Burunitu Cowboys in the Vodafone Cup could face a lifetime ban from Rugby League. Fiji National Rugby League Interim Chief Executive Don Natambe confirmed this, saying no one will be spared from the penalties and charges the sport has against violence. Natambe says they received submissions from both teams involved, including the coach's statement, with the final hearing on the matter to commence tomorrow.
Some of the primary charges that have been identified as a 4 to 6 week or life ban for those involved.
Fijian-born winger Patrick Osborne has signed for Waikato Rugby for the upcoming Mitre 10 Cup season. Osborne signed alongside former All Black loose forward Adam Thompson. Waikato head coach Andrew Strawbridge says both players are very experienced, hard-working leaders and have the versatility to cover several positions in the squad. He adds the experience will be vital for the younger members of the squad to help them learn and grow. Osborne recorded 42 appearances for Canterbury at a provincial level, on top of the 60 Super Rugby caps for the Chiefs and the Highlanders, recording a total of 165 points across the two competitions between 2013 and 2017. Athletics Fiji plans to take their awareness programs to primary schools around the country. This is part of their development program in striving to keep the sport alive in the country. Vice President Choti Linga says they're targeting grassroots level as it will allow them to identify and groom the future athletes of the country. He adds this is also part of their aim to keep athletes involved and interested in athletics to avoid losing them to other sports. The Cricket Fiji Waikato T10 tournament continues today in Mothe in the Lao group. 8 teams are part of the competition, which started yesterday, including 3 from Mothe, 2 teams from Namuka, and 1 each from Kambara, Oniata, and Como. Cricket Fiji Chief Executive Alex Conrote says all teams are being hosted in Mothe. Looking at the results, Mothe 1 defeated Oniata with 3 for 84 runs, while the visitors managed 4 for 66 in 10 overs. Namuka Blues beat Como by 4 runs, and Kambara defeated Mothe 2 just by 2 runs. In another match, Mothe 3 proved too strong for Namuka Red. A weak trough of low pressure remains slow moving over the group. Associated cloud and showers is expected to affect the eastern parts of the country till later Thursday. And that's your FBC News now. Join us again at 7 p.m. for our major bulletin. In times of crisis, you need news you can trust. Get the verified facts from FBC's TV, radio and digital news, fbcnews.com.fj, keeping Fijians connected with the truth. Enjoy your lunch.
Bula FM, number 2 and seri.
Bula FM, number 2 and seri.